Hello, welcome to day 7 of 40 Days of Self-Love. And I wanted to bring you into one of my favorite self-care rituals, which is nourishing the body. Because when we're talking about self-care, it can look like so many different things, right? It can look like meditation, it can look like healing our mental health, it can look like rest. But we also have to think about the body. And this morning, when I was meditating, my body was crying out. My adrenals were like, we need extra support. So I wanted to bring you into one of my rituals that I do, which is making adaptogenic tea. Now, adaptogens are herbs that have lots of different healing properties, but essentially they're adaptogenic because they know where to go in the body and what to do. Meaning, an adaptogenic herb like Tulsi, holy basil, could do something different for my body than it could do for yours, but it's going to go in there with its natural plant intelligence and go in and figure out exactly what needs to happen inside the body to bring it into balance. So we like to use these herbs. I personally like to use these herbs to support myself while I'm teaching my workshops inside my coaching program, while I'm working with my clients, so that I can have really good sustained energy that doesn't create a crash, right? I don't do caffeine, guys. I don't do caffeine because I have been healing my adrenals for the last couple of years. And that looks like a caffeine free diet where I'm using these herbs to essentially balance my nervous system, balance my adrenals, balance my thyroid, and that really keeps me in great health. So I wanted to make some tea with you today. And tell me, what herbs do you like working with? Are you familiar with herbs? Are you familiar with tea? So I'm going to be a little witchy here. Here's my pot of boiling water. It's already starting to steam. And I'm just going to be, really intuitive with what I'm doing. So I'm taking a little bit of astragalus. Astragalus is really good for the immune system, and it's adaptogenic herb because it really does replenish our stores of energy. It goes where it needs to go. I got some holy basil. I wish you could smell. This is my holy basil. Some of this is grown. Some of this is what I put in the garden. Some of these I get from farmers markets. Really, wherever the herbs call to me, sometimes on my travels, I'll grab some of those. Holy basil is also known as Tulsi, and this is a really great herb for the whole immune system. It boosts energy. I have a little bit of skull cap, which is good for the nervous system, good for headaches, good for relieving tension. I love Guinness-stemma tea. It is a tea that is said to be sort of the fountain of youth and cure. It says it's good for the cardiovascular system, digestive system, reproductive and nervous system, and it has a little bit of a sweetish taste. And so I really love adding that to all of my blends. I don't add too much because it really does, it's one of those herbs where it's rolled up in a tiny little ball, if you can see that, but then it's just going to essentially um, unfold within the water. So use a little bit of that. It's cold outside, everybody, and I'm a person who runs on the cooler side. So I'm going to bring my friend Cinnamon into the picture. It smells so good. I wish you could smell this. Look, I got a cinnamon mustache. How do you like it? I'm going to put that in there. What else? I'm going to add some Schizandra berry. I love Schizandra. My body loves Schizandra. Schizandra is the 5 flavored berry in Chinese medicine. And what that means is it plays on all of the senses of sweet, sour, astringent, bitter. What's the one I'm forgetting here? Salty. And that berry is incredibly yummy, astringent, and I love it. And so I have a blend here of stinging nettles. This is my favorite go-to herb. This is really anti-inflammatory. It's really good for arthritis. They've done studies in elderly homes where I love how they did the study, where they would have a little curtain, and the curtain would prevent the elderly patients in this nursing home from seeing what was going to happen, because stinging nettles, if you've ever grown them or if you've ever found them in the woods and were surprised and found out they were stinging nettles, because they sting, they have antihistamine properties. And what they would do with elderly people who were in nursing homes who were having arthritic conditions was they would put their hands through this little curtain so they couldn't see what was happening. And then they would take a bushel of stinging nettles and they'd start whipping their hands with them. And they did that because it hurts. No one wants to be whipped with stinging nettles, of course. But what would end up happening is the antihistamine properties would then go and soothe their arthritic symptoms. So this is a really good one for any kind of puffiness that you have that's caused from inflammation. Stinging nettles are delicious. I add these to soups and stews. Some here on the bottom is store-bought, and on the top it's a little bit more green. That's stuff that I grew in my garden last year. This is all what I grew. Yeah. And I actually relocated some of those plants that I grew from a place in the woods where I found them and relocated them. So they're very hardy. They're very resilient. They're my favorite herb. Let's see if I forgot anything here. I got my skull tab. This is just more astragalus. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to add in here is turkey tails, because they're really good for digestion. They're really good for gut health. And I harvested these myself. And if you're going to harvest them yourself, make sure to go with someone who really knows what they're doing, because you don't want to eat something that's not healthy for you. But look at how shiny that is. Oh my goodness. I love showing everyone who I make tea for in my home. I'm like, look at how shiny and beautiful these turkey tails are. So I love adding turkey tails. I harvested these in New Hampshire a couple of years ago, and they are one of my favorites to add to everything. I've made some tinctures with them. I make some teas with them, and they're just really good for the immune system, gut health. They can be really good for candida overgrowth, and balancing out the gut microbiome as well. So that's just a little bit about some of the teas I like to make. I make different ones every time. I do it very intuitively. These are the herbs that wanted to volunteer today. So I'll let you know how it goes, because I'm going to make a big pot for the week so that I have enough to last me the next couple of days, so I can be sipping on that while I'm at work and chatting with all of you. So anyway, let me know how that resonates. If there's any questions that you have, or if there's anything that you want to share, well, let me know how this is going for you. Your 40 days, are you following along? Are you drinking some tea today with me? What are some of your favorite self-care strategies? Because again, self-care is not just about the body or the mind. It's also about the spirit. And when we can pour that energy into ourselves, we can have better, sustainable energy to then bring our light into the world and shine for others. So anyway, just wanted to share that little ritual with you today. And blessings to you on your self-love, self-care journey. And I will see you all soon. Bye.